So let's talk real quick. It's been a month now since I got this car. Well, a little bit more than a month, but I'm gonna give you the recap for the first month of owning the Macan and what it was like and how much money I made. Let's talk about it. Before we can dive into the numbers, we actually have to talk about what it's like to own a car. There's always problems, and the Macan was no different. I've had problems with all my cars. If you look through my channels, I've had problems with squealing brakes, rocks stuck in the windshields, turkeys hitting my cars. And unfortunately, with the Macan, the CPO process wasn't done properly, or it wasn't just completed. So the last video that you watched, when me and Vaughn went down to LA to pick up the car, I got in the car, everything was fine. We were driving it back to the Bay Area, which is about a 6-hour drive. And on the way back, I got a call from the dealership letting me know that the actual CPO, certified Porsche service, wasn't done properly or wasn't completed. They didn't sign up on the paperwork, and they would actually need the car there to finish the process. Now, I was already halfway back to San Francisco, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? I'm all the way back. And they say, don't worry, we'll send over a truck to pick up the car from you, take the car all the way back to Los Angeles, we'll fill up the gas tank, and then we'll put the car back on a truck to complete the CPO process. So I said, okay, nothing out of pocket for me, right? If anything, they're giving me a gas tank, which is probably about $100 right now. So I had to get that done. The problem is this Macan isn't just a personal car, it's now a business asset. So the time that the car was out of my hands equals time that I could have been getting trips. And so unfortunately, I had to miss out on a couple trips. But I think June didn't end up that bad. So over the month of June, I had 3 trips. 2 were delivered to SFO. One was supposed to be delivered to SFO, but there was a little bit of mashup, so I ended up delivering a car to downtown San Francisco, which was fine. Guest was very communicative, so I was easy to coordinate with him, and he actually paid for the delivery to San Francisco. Those 3 trips were very much, I would say, just easy. It was easy. The people were very nice. They took really good care of the car. They filled the car out. They were very communicative. And I now have 3 5-star reviews. So when new people come to look at my car on Turo, they'll see that, like, hey, this person has experience. The car is out. It just builds up my reputation. Now, those 3 trips, 518, that's about $160 per trip. We want more of that. Because on the other side here, you can see these are essentially my cost for having the Macan. My car notes is $827, and my insurance is $130. That means that I have to clear $957 to pay off the car, and then I also have to consider additional expenses. So take, for example, car wash. Whenever you get the car back from a guest, you are going to wash the car before you give it to another guest. Whenever people get in these Turo cars, they want to feel like they are getting in a brand new car, or like they just picked up a car from a dealership. So, you know, it's just, you want to wash the car. Car wash do end up adding up. There's a car wash spot right next to here, to my house. That's about $10 per wash, which isn't too bad. But, you know, it's a little bit of a cost, and so that eats a little bit into the margins. Now, parking is another thing that's a bit tricky. One of the big things that I learned really in this first month was that the majority of your rentals are going to be near the airport. It's just a matter of fact is that when people fly in, they rent cars. Local people don't really rent cars. And so you want to be as close to the airport as possible, and you want to find where to drop the car off, where, you know, you won't be bothered by airport officials, and where it's also a safe place. Ideally, you don't want people to have to take a Lyft or Uber, because then they're going to go with your competition, because your competition is going to be willing to drop the car off at a convenient location. However, there's times where you won't be able to meet the guest in person, and you're going to have to do what's called a contactless delivery. In that case, you'll essentially want to park the car at the parking lot and then have the guest pick up the car and then drive off. Now, since I'm just starting off, I'm actually eating that cost, the parking cost. Whenever people are actually leaving the facility, they're gonna have to take the ticket and pay the the booth. I'm eating the cost at this time, and so the first time I think it was about $33. The second time I think it was maybe about $15. So it's nothing too crazy. But since I am trying to get 5-star reviews, I want to make the process as seamless as possible for the guest. Another cost associated with this is how do you get to the airport and how do you leave the airport? So I'm lucky because I'm a fiance and she's super excited to be working with me on this. And a lot of times she'll pick me up or drop me off so I don't have to pay anything. But unfortunately, I've had to take a Lyft or Uber so I can actually get to the airport to pick up the car, or after I drop it off to get home. And there is public transportation. Unfortunately, it's not ideal for where I live, and a lot of times I have to get home to actually do my day job. So that's also part of the cost I included here. That said, things are still looking well. If I look at the amount of money that I've spent so far, I'm still feeling very optimistic in regards to the business. Now, when I think about the long-term prospect of the business and how I want to get better, I think reinvesting into the business is going to be a big thing. Reinvesting into the car in particular. For example, since I know that contactless or airport drop-off or leaving your car in a parking lot is going to be a lot more frequent, I went and bought a lockbox. And so I used the lockbox to leave the key outside of the car, and then people can come and enter a code and then get in the car. And that way, I can drop off the car without being there. That is crucial. I believe if you're going to do Turo, you have to have a way to drop the car off when you're not there. Ideally though, I would actually use the Porsche app. Porsche has an app called Porsche Connect, and the system essentially allows you to lock and unlock the car from anywhere you are. It's been really tricky. This is another car complication thing that I'm dealing with. I've gone to the dealership back and forth, and setting it up is a really weird system. I actually had an appointment to set it up on Tuesday, but they said they weren't sure they could do it, so I had to call the dealership back in LA, and they said, yeah, we could do it, and now I have to make an appointment, but I don't have time to go into an appointment. Cars. It's always something, but I'll get that figured out. That's going to be about $250 that I need to pay to get the Porsche Connect app turned on in my car. But that'll allow me to move away from that lockbox and to be able to remote lock and unlock the car. It's just a cleaner process than the lockbox, and there's also some quirks of the lockbox that are not ideal. Another big thing to reinvest in is actually thinking of the car wash. So there's a car wash near me that offers subscription service. I'm sure there's a car wash near you that offers the same thing, where it's, I have to check, but I think it's about $25 a month, and you get unlimited washes for your car. And so if it costs me $9 to $10 to fill my car up, and there's 4 weekends in a month, and I know I'm gonna get at least 4 months, then it just makes sense to pay a subscription. And there's a couple little things that I do want to do to the car to make it a little bit better. For example, tints, there's no tints in the front, and the car gets really hot. Like I wanna buy like a sunshade also to block out the sun when it's parked. Especially since the car is parked outside and it's gray, like a really dark gray on the outside, black interior, the car gets really hot. Now, if there's one more important thing that you should be aware of that comes related to the car notes, is that with credit unions, you are typically able to defer your payment. My credit union actually gave me 60 days to make my first payment. Can I help you? I had until, or I still have until July 31st to make my payment. So even though over the month of June, I didn't make enough money to cover my car insurance on my car note, this gets wiped out. So that means I didn't have to take any money out of my pocket to cover a lot of the business expenses. And so going into July, now I have a little bit of leverage. In July, I'm booked out. The Macan is booked every weekend for the month of July. And my estimated revenue is about $1,700. So You do 1,700 minus this cost, and we're looking at about $700 in profit. Now, that's really good, but my goal starting this was always to get to $1,000 or more in profit per month. So the next big thing for me is getting to the all-star host level. Being an all-star host, I would just get a lot more promotion on the platform, and there's a lot of perks that'll help me increase my rates. Now, when it comes to business, there's two ways to make more profits. It's either increasing your revenue or decreasing your costs. And so I'm gonna be looking for ways, whether it be looking for different insurance policies, maybe try to get that to $100, doing for different car washes, maybe different parking options, little ways that I might be able to save on costs while also increasing my income. So needless to say, I'm very enthusiastic about Turo as a possibility, but also just renting cars. I want to think bigger than just Turo the platform. For now, Turo is great as just having one car, but I already feel like I want another car. I just started. I think like a 3 Series would be nice, or some type of car that would get rented out for a month at a time. Ideally, that would be great if I could just get paid and just having the car out. So that'll be the next step. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any thoughts in the comment section. If you like this, maybe I'll do more of these videos. I also want to talk to Vaughn, because Vaughn has actually purchased the Cayenne. Even though he just had an M4 a month ago, he now has a Cayenne, a 2023 series, and that BMW M4 convertible we looked at last time. All right, well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.